Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So, what happened after Powell spoke? Well, we had some good laughs. We had some questions. And then we had another bank fail. When Powell said everything is okay, there's no more banking woes, everything is good, we have another bank that is literally failing and probably will be taken over tomorrow. So let's talk about this new bank, whether or not the banking crisis is really over, and what it means to have the Fed fund rate spiked up to 5% now. So let's do this. Welcome, guys. Today, like I said, usually after Powell speaks, the market goes down. And I did not disappoint with that prediction. So you could see the U.S. market ended in red. Wasn't that bad, I guess. But it was red. But you know what's not down is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is back above 29,000. And why did this happen? Well, we have another bank that has basically collapsed. What did Powell say exactly? Well, I'm not going to repeat everything I said earlier today because that was only a few hours ago. And I said what I wanted to say in that. But ultimately, Powell said, enough is enough. Okay? There's no plans on any more rate hikes unless the data tells us we need to. But basically, he changed his verbiage, changed what the press release, what it said. And basically, it's like, this is enough unless the economic data shows that we need to raise rates more. The bottom line is, it should be, this is it, 5%. Okay? Now, he was asked many other questions about the debt ceiling, which he said definitely needs to be raised because the U.S. defaults don't look at him to fix things. He's like, that's an impossible task. So we need to, fix the debt ceiling, raise it up. Doesn't mention about minting more or printing more money, but that's exactly what's being discussed right now, and I'll get to that in a little bit. And of course, he was asked about banks, whether or not he feels like the banks are okay. Is there any more fear about banks? And his answer was, no, it's good. We knew about 3 banks. We knew that they were going to go under, but now it's all good. There's no more worries about any other banks. You know, the deposits are stable. They're not being withdrawn. Everything's okay. And then you have Pacific Western Bank fall 52% in the after hours. This bank has been struggling. After First Republic, PacWest was down 28% yesterday. Today it ended at minus 2%. And then PacWest said they're considering strategic options. What does that mean? Probably means they need a bailout or some kind of acquisition because probably the deposits disappeared. That's why Wall Street's like, I'm not going to be caught in that. I'm getting out. So it sold off 52%. Earlier in the day when I was showing this, I actually said trading halted for some reason. That should give you an indication something's happening, right? I even said it this morning. I'm like, why is trading halted 6 minutes in? Something very suspicious going on. And I'm pretty sure they're not the only ones. I'm sure there's other regional banks that are having the same problem right now. So everyone is trying to reassure, including the Fed, the Treasury, Janet Yellen, Fed Chair Powell, right? You have Biden also saying it. You have everyone saying, oh, Jamie Dimon, let's not forget, he's saying it. Jim Cramer's also saying it. Remember what I said about inverse Cramer? Cramer said after First Republic, it's over. There's no more worries, right? I said inverse Cramer is always right. Tomorrow, we'll probably see trading halted, PacWest go down even more, and then the day afterwards, we'll probably go see that it's going up for auction, and hopefully JP Morgan doesn't buy them because they're already too big. Right? So that's what's happening. That's why Bitcoin's up. It's so obvious right now, right? Whenever there's a bank failure, there's bank banking fears, it's helping drive Bitcoin upwards. I mean, it's undisputed. It's happening right in front of our eyes, right? So this is proving that Bitcoin is a safe haven, a store of value that at least some people recognize now. Not everyone. Obviously, if everyone recognized that Bitcoin would be over 100,000 already. No, but some people are recognizing that, hey, maybe we can't trust the banks. FDIC insurance is only up to 250,000. What if you have more than that? What if the FDIC goes broke and they don't have money, right? Maybe that's why we have this debt ceiling crisis, because we don't have money as a country. We don't. We're 31 trillion in the hole. Yet we're trying to move that 31 trillion to like 33 trillion or 34 trillion, whatever it is. And every few years we keep going up. We're not paying any of it back. And that is why it's gotten so desperate, or the government has gotten so desperate, they're thinking about just printing a $1 trillion platinum coin. I don't know why the Treasury Department thinks that it could just do this and it's okay. You know, we got $1 trillion. We just print a platinum coin that's worth $1 trillion. We type in $1 trillion in our computers. That's it, right? We got $1 trillion more. And away we go. We don't have to worry about the debt ceiling or anything. Imagine that you could just print a $1 trillion coin and think that it's okay, but that's actually being discussed right now as a real option of what the government needs to do in order to save itself, right? That's how desperate things have become. I mean, it's just really wild if you think about it. You just think about how the government operates, how the Fed and Treasury and everyone operates. You think it's just it would be more difficult, right? Like more complicated. You would think that it can't be this. It can't be like this, right? Like it's just everything built on a house of cards. Yet it is. Yet it is. That's why Bitcoin is gaining strength. That's why people are turning to Bitcoin. And this is a perfect reason to do so. This is why Satoshi created Bitcoin, because of all shenanigans. If you think what's going on right now is fishy, well, back in 2008, when every bank, including JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and Wells Fargo and Bank of America and Citibank, they were all collapsing one after another. They had to be bailed out. Right now, they seem to be okay, and it's just the regional banks that are struggling. But in 2008, every single one was about to collapse. And had the Fed not stepped in and injected about $800 billion into their system, we would have had global catastrophe, one that we have never, ever witnessed before. It would have sent every country into the dark ages. And it was also the time the FDIC insurance was lifted up. I remember back in the day, it was like 100,000. And then they went up to 250,000 because there were so many bank runs that would absolutely collapse the entire banking system just from people withdrawing their money. I'm surprised the FDIC insurance has not been lifted up to like 500,000 at this point, because that's exactly what happened in 2008, right? So, bottom line is, this is why we turn to Bitcoin. Yes, the government can print all they want, $1 trillion coins all day long, and say that everything's okay, but ultimately, what that leads to is inflation and your buying power, your purchasing power decreasing to zero. Okay, this only goes up to 2020. But if it goes up to 2023, or continues to 2023, I should say, it'll be near zero. Okay, it'll be like really, really, really close to zero. Because when you print more of something, it decreases its value. Okay, so that's ultimately what's happening. That's why if you want to preserve your purchasing power, your wealth, you need to invest in something that outperforms inflation, like Bitcoin. Okay, it's that simple. It's that simple. And speaking of Bitcoin, we're 75% in this current cycle. You look at what has happened before, the 2 times before, 75% in back in 2019. We still went up a little bit before kind of going sideways. And then before that in 2015, after we hit 75%, we just kept going. So which scenario is it? Are we going to keep going or kind of go sideways and get a little weaker? I think it's more like 2015. I think we're going to start gaining strength as more and more banks fail and proving that the Fed and Treasury really don't know what they're talking about, and increasing the rates even more is going to cause more credit tightening, less spending, right? And meaning less money and liquidity for the banks. And as more and more people withdraw their deposits, these banks will be in really bad shape, really bad shape. And more bank failures will just lead to more people coming to Bitcoin. It's really that simple. Really that simple. And of course, there are a lot of metrics like this that show Bitcoin is on its way up. And that is what we have to look forward to this cycle as Bitcoin continues to trend upwards towards $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 by 2025. Maybe even 2026. Maybe we have a super cycle and it goes even longer. So that's what's happening right now. Yeah, that's a lot. I said a lot right there. Bitcoin is still going up. That's good. What else happened today? Well, the other big thing that a lot of people are talking about is this new Sui chain created by ex-Facebookers, has hundreds of millions of dollars in VC funding, kind of like its corporate cousin. They're not related, but I say corporate cousin because Aptos also, same thing, ex-Facebookers, got hundreds of millions of VC funding, right? So very similar. But, you know, this launch, not that successful. Well, it depends on how you look at it. First of all, it debuted at $4.50, and then it dropped down to $1.44. So right now, it's under $1 billion market cap, which sounds about right. But look at the circulating supply over here. I just noticed. Only 5%. It's over here if you can't see it. Only 5% has been released. 95% is still waiting to be distributed, meaning inflation. There's a 95% inflation rate that hasn't happened yet. So I don't know if people are paying attention to that. That is absolutely horrible. Really horrible. And you know what else is horrible? This is supposed to be a fast chain, one that's very decentralized. Yet right now on the network, it's processing 7 transactions per second. 7. That's less than Ethereum at this point. So where's all this fast speeds? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But it is certainly not fast by any means. I don't know why it's saying out of 137. Does that mean its peak rate is 137 transactions per second? That would be pretty pathetic for a new Gen 3 chain. So I don't actually know what's going on. If they need to upgrade more or what, but that just looks absolutely horrible. Not only is it the token economics looks horrible, it dumped right away, and it can't scale. But on the bright side, a lot of you guys may not care because some people that got lottery tickets into buying Sui, I don't know how you say it, they only bought it for 10 cents. And the insiders, whitelisted by the team, bought it for only 3 cents. So regardless, that's like a 40, 50, 60x for some people. But for most people that FOMO'd in after it hit the exchanges and they FOMO'd in at like $3 or $4, well, they lost a ton. So that's the problem with a lot of these big hyped up chains that has so much enthusiasm and money, and you get all the exchange listings, all this stuff, right? Everyone wants to ape into it. Well, be careful because the insiders, especially the team and the people who was whitelisted by the team, right? They made out like a bandit, and they're the ones that's dumping right now, while everyone else is wondering whether or not it's going to get back up to its opening price of $450, right? So that's why sometimes you just got to wait. You got to wait it out. You can't just jump in right away because you don't want to be dumped on, right? And I don't know when it's going to get back to 450. Maybe tomorrow, maybe never. We don't know. And its corporate cousin, Aptos, they recently had this partnership with MasterCard, although they're not the only one. MasterCard is doing this ID credential system across many chains. So that's the latest news for them. And also they have 50 projects, 3.5 million of grants given. So they're still operating okay. I don't know where they are on the chart, but I think they're plus 1 billion. So they're doing okay. But these two chains are very early indeed. So still trying to figure it out. All right. That's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. Jared Vanderbilt, I didn't know too much of him until I started watching his defense. Every single game I watch of him, he's like a hawk. He's like a extremely good defender, right? And he could shoot corner threes, but his defense is out of this world. Let's see. I missed some super chats on top. Charlie, big first super chat. Thank you for that. And then another Charlie. Check out Games for a Living. Huge talent behind the team. CEOs from Electronic Arts. 3 million hidden cap. You know what you should do, Charlie? If you find a team or a project like that you think is really, really good, you know what you should do? You should send them directly here to FOMO or Pass, where Brian and I will look at them and evaluate and bring them onto the show and have them talk about stuff. So any of you guys that are associated with the project, or you're a team lead, or you simply want to volunteer, well, you should tell the teams to go apply so we can have great projects to pitch us and, in turn, showcase to you guys. So, Charlie, that's what I would suggest. Let's see. Grom Executive, I can't keep up with you. LOL. Morning stream, live FOMC, Twitter Spaces now this. Well, think about me. Think about me having to do 4 freaking shows a day and killing myself for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. But I did enjoy this one, though. I did enjoy this one. Not that many views. I think by the time this ends, it was probably like 2 or 3K, but this was fun. This was fun. And it was actually very educational. These guys spoke very well about meme and why it's important, and then we got a little battle. You guys could still listen to this afterwards. It was actually pretty good, but I hope others come in and debate more too. The only thing I didn't like, to be honest, and I'm sure the Floki team is watching this because they're the ones that emailed me after I said this, I encouraged Floki to invite their community. They did not. They did not tweet it. They did not share it. Their Telegram didn't want to talk about it. They didn't invite any of the community. Most of the community was either from me or Suka. So that was kind of disappointing. I think they did very well. They represented Floki really well. But they didn't invite any of their guys. No one knew about it. So that was very disappointing. So anyone in the future that wants to come in, definitely you want to get your community involved. Otherwise, it's kind of boring. And by the way, Bitcoin is going back up. Oleg says Sue opened at 10,000 on Bitfinex and then down 9 point. I don't know why it would be opening up at 10,000. I don't know. That's just crazy. Vanderbilt is a beast. I mean, that guy could play some good D. 90s Bulls, greatest NBA team in history. We'll agree to disagree. Anthony, Epic Kicks. Appreciate that. Do you think the next bull run will have greater strength due to corporations getting on board and a stronger institutional entry? Yes, Dusty. I think about that for a little bit, but yes. First of all, a lot of these projects now are run by ex-corporate or finance people. So they kind of know what they're doing, which means that the companies that are building right now in crypto, they're a lot stronger than before. Not to say that corporate experience is the only thing that's great, but you know, having that maturity, having been through it, the experience definitely helps. But not only the projects that are being funded and founded right now have that maturity, but also the corporations that want to utilize crypto, I think they're also being smarter about it. And overall, yes, I think all this helps the next bull run and helps more companies get involved. There's better tools that's being built. There's a better infrastructure. It's just way easier to get in now than before. So, yes. Coinbase stock, do you think it'll go low after earnings? I don't know. Maybe. Coinbase is getting hammered left and right, and people don't like them because they keep getting sued. So, I still think they will trend up with Bitcoin, but they may have a harder time because of all the lawsuits. You can never quit streaming. You always make Bitcoin. Yeah, that does seem to happen, but one day, can't promise you guys forever, but one day I have to hang up the hat. Did I get into LimeWire presale? No, never even heard of it. DCA Wednesday. Is it DCA Wednesday? I lose track of the days. Let's bring it up. Today should be pretty good. Bitcoin's up. Let's see. Log in here. Come on. It's about the same as last week. Minus 25% overall. For the week, yeah, it's about dead even. This is about the same point as last week. But, you know, it is what it is. DCA, keep DCAing until this turns green. And for this week, I don't remember what I did last week, but maybe I should just put $100 in Pepe and see what happens. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. This week alts got weaker. I think I put some in Arbitrum last week. So maybe I put a little into Gala because their V2 is coming up. A little bit into maybe, yeah, a little bit more into Arbitrum maybe. I don't actually know. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put Gala, Arbitrum, and Bitcoin. Can't go wrong with Bitcoin at this point. But let me put a little into Gala. I need to... So I'll do $33 in each. All right, so that's about $880 in Gala. And then Arbitrum. Put a little more, $33 in Arbitrum. All right, and then $33 in the Bitcoin. 001133. I'm not using a calculator, by the way. It's all in my head. Asian math. All right, so Bitcoin, Arbitrum, and a little Gala today. Pretty good lineup. Eli says Bitcoin is our $1 trillion coin. It'll get there soon. It was at trillion before. Tommy, what will it look like in the future when we use BTC as currency? Also, when will business owners like myself be able to invoice in BTC? You could already do that. Well, I don't know if you could do that. I'm pretty sure you could do that. I think most of the payment software does switch to cash, because as a business owner, most do not want to just hold on BTC for volatility reasons. But there has to be one. I'm thinking if you look at the three that I could think of, obviously is Strike, and then Cash App and PayPal. I gotta think one of them allows you to keep some of it in Bitcoin. Maybe not, but I'm sure there are smaller companies that also do that. And then as for future using BTC as currency, I just don't think that's going to be the case. I think Bitcoin is just going to be a store of value. There's better things to use as a payment. Coinbase Commerce can. Okay, that's another option. And I'm going to try to stay here as long as I can, but no promises. Once I get my goal, reach my goal, I'm out of here. But that goal probably will not come for a while. Lakers, they are going to shut down Golden State. I think it could be a sweep. I think it'll be a real, I don't know what you would say, a real message that the Lakers can send by defeating Golden State in 4 games. They'll probably go win next game, but I don't know if they could win the 2 after that. But if they could win 4 games, basically that tells Steph, you're done. LeBron is still better, and then they will beat everyone else. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. I probably wouldn't bet on that, but I would like to see that happen. It's not going to be Golden State in 7, I'll guarantee that. I'd say at most 6 games, but probably 5. I think Lakers in 5. Curry was really out of it. Lakers always figure out a way to stop Curry, sort of, so he doesn't like go crazy. What the Lakers have a problem with is Jordan Poole, who really effed up. He had a chance to tie the game. And then Klay Thompson. You know, they don't really do a good job guarding Klay. Klay could shoot threes all day long. And luckily he wasn't that hot for game 1, but they guard Steph like crazy, but they leave the other guys open. No, my goal is past 1 million subs. But gaining subs these days are very hard. Very, very hard indeed. All right, I'm going to call it a night. I'm too tired. So, bottom line is this. Fed Chair Powell promised it's all good. No more bank failures. Tomorrow, we're going to hear more about PacWest, and probably other regional banks will follow. So, stick with Bitcoin, stick with crypto, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.